And hi, everybody. Welcome to Rick Snider's Washington on YouTube, where you get the whole story. So please like, share, subscribe, comment, and hit the thanks button. Yes, back for a live chat. We'll see if Steve is first. 8 to 9 Eastern. If you come in tomorrow to watch this, hey, welcome aboard. But doing this week and next Monday. Also on Thursday, for the first round pick, I'll do a live chat starting at 7:30. That's about half an hour before. Ooh, Steve made it first. Oh, we can count on you. And I'll talk Thursday live during the draft through the Commanders opening pick, which should be about 8:30. For once, we don't have to wait a long time. So we'll hang out Thursday. Come back 7:30. We'll talk about it there too. On there, and because some of you watch this on replay, I can do it right away. Do have an offer. I have a few books left. So if you are a Commanders fan, or if you're a President's fan drinking, or both, whatever. I don't do advertisers on this show because I want to keep it with you guys, and that means I get direct support from a lot of you. So if you want to buy them, you can check it out in the opening announcement, or I'll put it up now. Hey, Crazy Commander, thanks for coming. 20 for Commander's book, Presidential's 15, combined $30, free shipping on any order. I sign them all. So let me stick that on there now. On the chat box, you can see Venmo and PayPal, that kind of thing. It's just the way we do business anymore, Okay, and that's up there. So if you want to see it. All right. Oh, a few of you have come aboard. I don't know how many people are coming. I haven't done the show Monday live in a while. Steve, it helps to drink. I always said John Adams would be a good Washington fan because the second president used to drink when he got up at 5 a.m. And I said, can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning. So, and the man lived to his 90s. So much for all that. Craig's already started with us. JJ McCarthy's the pick. All right. Can I put money on that? Crazy Commander. Very excited for the draft. I think everybody is. I took a few weeks off just to kind of refreshing after doing like 25 in a row. But I'll do this week, next week, and then I need to take some time off again. So, all right, JJ. So I can see this is going to be one of those days. Okay. One order of business, Shaka Tony today was released by the team. You might remember he was suspended all of last season for gambling on the NFL games under whatever rules. I don't know. The NFL wants to have gambling, wants all the money. Yeah. Doesn't want to be pregnant. And some players, stepped over the line. But anyway, Tony was suspended for a year, and then he was just reinstated, and the team said, well, we don't want any part of this. So he was released today. One interesting stat, since we're loved to talk about quarterbacks tonight, today we had, Zach Wilson was traded from the Jets to Denver, plus a seventh for a sixth round pick. So basically a bag of balls pick. But of that 2021 draft, of the 5 quarterbacks, 4 have now been traded for day 3 selections. So, just because we're looking at another one of these big quarterback heavy drafts doesn't mean it's going to do what's going to happen. It's going to happen, but if it would be any good, I don't know on there. So, okay, got that done. All right, let's go over picks real quick because even everybody gets confused. All right, let me go down to Commanders picks. All right, they got the second overall in the first round. In the second round, they have the numbers 36 and 40. 40 comes from Chicago as part of the Montez Sweat trade. In the third round, they have 3 picks, number 67, 78, which comes from Seattle, and 100, which comes from San Francisco for the Chase Young trade last year. Nothing in the fourth. Fifth round, 2 picks, 139 and 152. 152 coming from Seattle. Nothing in the sixth, and then in the seventh, number 222. So there's your lineup for this draft day. And okay. And I saw Bob talking football. I did use one of your questions. It's tomorrow morning. All right, Crazy Commander. Jaden would be the next Lamar. Maybe. Is it here? I don't know. Do we trade down for more picks, or is JD the guy? And how am I? Well, thank you for asking. I'm hanging in there. Robert Dean. You're not one of the deans of Virginia, are you? Where we're related? Because I'm related to a lot of deans on my mom's side. So, all right, I know everybody wants to say it's Jaden Daniels, and maybe it is. on here, but I don't know. I'm starting to think it could be May. Um, and I don't know. I don't know. Nobody is. It's on lockdown there. I give Jason, I'm not sorry, Adam Peters credit for not giving it up. Oh, I see my whiteboard behind me has an old whiteboard. Hold on. Oh, that's tomorrow's video. You can't. Now you know what's going on. All right. Anyway, they have locked down everything, man. It's just no one's saying anything. And when people, some of these national people, because they get paid to try and pretend they know everything, are saying my sources say this. Their sources are not team sources, and they didn't say they were team sources. They said they were sources. I have done this for 46 years. I know how the game is played. I play it very well myself. But it could be agents. Agents love to talk, and that's the thing. Agents are the guys that spread all the information and misinformation and disinformation because they want their guy to benefit from it. So that's when you hear these whispers all of a sudden near the draft about a health issue or a legal issue or something. It's coming from the agents who are either trying to knock someone down in front of their guy or trying to promote their guy and create a false market. All this stuff. It's lying season, and there's a lot of lying going on. So that's what's happening there. Dan, any chance Wiley goes to guard and Cosme to tackle? No, I don't see that. I mean, Cosme's not a tackle, and they've learned that very quickly. He's a good guard, so don't make two things that mess you up twice. So I don't think so. Crazy Commander, predict the record. This fall 8-9, maybe 9-8. We'll see how. I want to see the schedule first before I do anything that crazy. But I think they're about a 500 team. Will this be the year we break the commercial pick curse, Abe? Well, they're the second pick. You'd like to think that they'll hang in there and not do it. But I put nothing past ESPN on this stuff. But let's hope. All right, Michael, I've missed a few weeks of your episodes. Well, that's because I've been gone for a few weeks. I just wanted to take a breath. I'm nearing retirement. I keep saying this is my last season. I've done it for about 5 years now, but this may be my last season. I'm kind of getting old and things going on. So I'm just enjoying the ride for now. Okay, but anyway, what positions do you want to key in on during the draft in order of importance? Well, I mean, quarterback. After that, man, you got a mountain of things that you want to do. But I mean, offensive tackle, I think, is your next pick. After that, you're kind of like, is it a good receiver? Is it a good corner? Is there a tight end? Is there an inside linebacker? All these kind of things are there. So I don't know if there's any choice. I think it's best one available. Greg Whitmore, do you think we would trade for more draft picks during draft weekend? I would, yes. Well, I'll say this. I would be shocked if the 2-2s go that way. I could see him trading up to try and get that offensive tackle. And I could see him wanting to get back up and higher. They got 3 threes. I mean, so I do expect that. Sean, thank you so much. I do appreciate that. And as I haven't talked about it for once yet, you can hit the $sign under the YouTube channel. That's where you see it, where you can donate money to me because it's a long, lonely off season. But anyway, this is a new media world. I don't do commercials because then you owe your sponsors all these things. Screw that. I'd rather just talk to you guys. But it comes at a price, which is, I don't mind when people, subscribe. I don't have a subscription fee. I don't do any of this stuff. It's just you and me. And if you want to kick in some money like Sean just did, that helps keep me from doing all the commercialization. And that way we can just talk. We talk. And if you want to buy my books, I feel like a whore doing this stuff all the time. But you know what? Sometimes people really do it. Let's see, this one goes up more. So this one's about presidents drinking. Every president, what they drank, $15. This is the updated version last year, I guess, of Commanders fans. A lot of great stories in here if you're a Commanders fan. $20 for Commanders, 15 for presidential. Get them both for 30. That includes shipping, and I will sign them too. And the Venmo and let me put it in here. Venmo and PayPal are the ways you can buy them. Or you can go on Amazon if you want, but it'll cost you whatever. I won't sign them. Could they pick 2 tackles, GB? Yeah, I could see it. I could see it. Michael, don't leave us on YouTube. Well, I won't leave you versus stay with others. I'll say that. I mean, I do better here than other places. I'm amazed how many people watch this show. Really am. Steve, how's the garden coming? Man, I spent 3 hours in the garden today. It's nothing's popped yet. Thank God, because it's frost this morning up here, which would have screwed me. Um, but I've been working hard to get it ready. So it's going to be a good year. Because if you guys weren't around, I'll show them. Oh, here it is. It's like I'm doing blue pumpkins among other things. Doing blue sunflowers too. But anyway, I did pumpkins last year. Anyway, I can do pumpkins. Um, LimeWire, thank you so much for kicking in. I do appreciate it. Ready to get this draft over and stop all the draft rumors? Whatever. It's a living, Everybody wants to move on to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. So um, I just tell people, hey, enjoy the ride. It goes quickly. This summer will be my 50th training camp somewhere, including me as a kid. 50 summers at training camp somewhere. Wow. I'm going to kind of just enjoy the ride, see how it's going. Where can I see the books we can buy? Well, you can go on Amazon. You can see them there. If you want to buy them from me, that's even better. But if you go on Amazon, you can see the descriptions. They sell them too. This one's a big publishing house I did years ago. It's so pretty decent. This one's been a little slow, but think about Father's Day present for your dad. Hey dad, I got you a book about drinking presidents. Every president that drank, some of them didn't. It's a short book, so we're not getting into them with a lot of pictures, that kind of stuff. So you can go on Amazon just to read more about them, but you can get them from me. Yeah, you can buy from there too. I make some of it. I just don't make as much. What will you do when you retire, GB? I don't know if I'll ever quite retire all the way, but I am also a tour guide in town. Matter of fact, last week, 3 people watching the show contacted me for tours around town. So if you're in DC, especially the day before games or something, I take people around, do all the whatever you want to do, anything in DC. So I'll be doing that some. I'm not teaching online anymore. That market kind of dried up, which I enjoyed teaching kids about our presidents, but they're all tired of screen time, and I don't blame them. And so I don't know. I mean, I'm getting older, and things are, Anyway, it's getting older. Knows sometimes things take your attention more than you don't want to, but you have to. Is there a chance we pick McCarthy? Asked Reginald. Reggie, I got to tell you, it's been in the back of my mind the last week about McCarthy could be a surprise. I mean, I don't know what to expect from Adam Peters yet. I will say, I think whoever he takes at quarterback is with the blessing of Dan Quinn. Even if Adam has the last say, you don't take this quarterback without Quinn being on board with you. The question is, if the two of you cannot agree, where do you go there? That's the scary part. But I don't think that's happening. I've heard nothing like that. But I think McCarthy's got a chance. I mean, I think it's May more. And I'll tell you why. So hold off on your comments a minute. I think it could be May because of something that was said in the press conference last week, which was they've never had a quarterback very successful. He wasn't extremely self-confident. So now I go back to the videotape. I've been watching him on the field, and then we watch him off the field. And that thing with the top golf that everybody seems to be making more out of than they should. But I think that was actually a live test to see which one was the alpha male, because they wanted to see how you put these 4 in the room together. Who's doing the talking? Who's making everyone laugh? Who's doing the lead? And I've heard from different people about this, and I think May was the guy. If we look at it that way, I think May's the one who emerged, and less on Daniels. And McCarthy, I look at is kind of a quieter guy than I would like. I mean, May's the guy that does that. They like leadership with this group. That's how they went to Quinn. Although, listen, Quinn was their third choice. We can see that. So, but then I just think that's something they're really valuing very much here. So that's why I'm thinking of. I haven't made my official pick, like anybody cares, but I think May. That's why I think it could be May. I think it could be any of the 3, to be honest. Penix, no, I don't think it's Penix. I'm praying it's not just so I don't have a typo hang over my head and something bad happen when I misspell his name. And you guys laugh, but it's a real fear to tell you the truth. I don't need to auto correct hit me and I don't notice it. And it will happen. So I'm kind of holding back on that one. Steve says, I'll just be glad not to hear about anyone's mock draft. Yeah, I don't do the whole thing anymore, mostly because I don't have the patience for it. You did years ago, but um, Timothy says he wants Daniels, but Peters you trust. Well, I mean, you give Peters a shot here to prove himself, because this is his call all the way. Ryan, have I ever attended a draft? Not up in New York or wherever it is anymore. No, I've always been at Redskin Commanders Park, or in the last couple of years at home. So I've always been live on the scene. I mean, I remember a draft day was 2 days or whatever, and man, or even one, it was like 12 hours long. Oh my God, you have hours between picks. Ooh, I hated those days. This is its own animal for TV, but it's a little easier on us there. When in May do you think the new NFL schedule will come out, Joe? Probably the second week of May, if I can gather. It used to come out, it's like the second week of April, but international dates and just so much stuff anymore. Thursday night games now, Friday night game. All this has made it more complicated. I don't know how they do it. So probably around then. So no, 2-3 weeks. But they're not doing any of the international games, so you don't have to think about that. Okay, and then after last year they did the Thanksgiving Day game with Dallas, so I don't think that I doubt that happens again this year. So maybe a boring old season of 1 o'clock Sunday games, which is fine with me. I can tell you that because getting home at 2 in the morning, getting old. So let's see. GB likes Drake. JD didn't look too good against Maryland the last 2 years. Well, the mighty Terps make everybody look bad, right? That's when I'm a Terp grad. So back when we had stone tablets for books. JJ reminds Bob Baker of Joey T. I don't know, Bob. I got to see a little more on that one. I wouldn't say no. I need to see a little more of Drake. Joe was not short on self confidence. That's for sure. But then so was like Jeff George. He was never short on self confidence, and he was a coach killer. Or there was I'm just trying to think. I mean, I've seen guys with big self confidence. Rex Grossman thought he could make any pass. He threw 5 picks one game and explained them all about how they were just as much off. Sexy Rexy, man. I like Rex. Somebody asked me the other day what player that never became a coach I thought would be a good one. And I said Rex. I mean, Rex really was good at talking about it. He just kept throwing the ball to the wrong guy. What are you going to do? LimeWire, Quinn was a third choice. In my opinion, he was. I mean, they were going for Ben Johnson. That's obvious on there. And then, McDaniel went to San Francisco. I think they were trying to make a move on him, and it didn't work. GB's going to support whoever they pick. There you go. Because I figure whoever they pick, 1/3 will say great, 1/3 will go hate it, and 1/3 will wish they'd traded down. So the problem with a lot of fans, I say this honestly, and I've been around, I'm a native Washingtonian. I've seen fans forever. That's all I talk about with my friends. Is everybody is so beat up from the Snider years, it can't be happy anymore. Well, take a breath, try and be optimistic, and hopefully things will get better. I know last year sucked too without Snider, but things are going to get better. Things are going to get better. That's why I'm sticking around. I kind of want to see a little more of the fun first before I leave. All right, Smack City. I like that name. When's the last time a player with Daniel's skill set won a Super Bowl? Lamar. I have said that's a thinker question, Smack City. I don't do real well trying to spit it out like that. Lamar. I don't know. There's been guys who have. Gardening question. Okay, Sean. What are a few easy options for a first timer? Man, dude, get mechanical tools so you don't have to do all this weeding with a hoe like I did. And I didn't even know the girl. No, I'm kidding. The mechanical weeders and all that stuff, the rototillers and all, man, those are. And pick easy stuff, and if you can, your first time, like corn, watermelons, things like that, and just water. Don't be afraid to, water. I mean, we seem to be in a drought cycle around here again for the second year. But just take your shot at it. Pick simple stuff. Who do I think the Washington Commanders opener will be against? Asked Gregory. Well, it won't be Philly because they'll be in Brazil. I doubt they do Dallas, so not that. Maybe the Giants. I mean, they could do a non-division game too, but Cleveland. And wouldn't that one be bleh? It's not a lot of sexy home games this year. The non-division, games are meh. Honestly, I mean, there may be more local fans. I mean, if I had to guess last year, total number of tickets sold at home games to visiting fans, I would say 70%. Outside of the Arizona game, they never had a majority. And I would think 70% is a fair number. It might have actually been higher. Let's see. Okay, Joe, I don't mind it with either of the afternoon games on Sunday. I don't either. Gotta love them. You got to earn prime time. That's right. Yeah, I like 1 o'clock games because I get home around 8 o'clock, and it's not a long, long day. Getting home at 2 in the morning. Done that too many times in my life. Joel, Jeff George was a hot mess. You got that right. Looked good in practice. He had a golden arm in practice. Parlett, who I used one of your questions too. Dan's a nerd. I don't know. That's an interesting term. I didn't say that. So if his lawyers are listening, I didn't say that. Ryan, the most annoying lawn work is pulling weeds. Got that right. Good. And they never end. I got a new tool that does it without bending over. My back can't handle this anymore. That's a problem. Getting old sucks. I don't recommend it. Lamar hasn't gotten a Super Bowl yet. You're right, Timothy. I was thinking of that when I said it. I was like, wait a minute. So I don't have an answer for that question. Brandon, thanks for well wishes. Always appreciate it. Okay, GB, not too many running Super Bowl quarterback winners. Well, that's true. They can't stay healthy. And that's the risk with Daniels, too. The RG3. RG3 could have been really a good quarterback until he got hurt so much, and then it messed with his game. And then he and Shanahan couldn't agree on the playbook to, not expose him so much, and just kind of ruined it all. If you get a chance and you hit that thumbs up button on YouTube, I'd appreciate it because the algorithm loves that stuff. That's why I start every video. People wonder why. When I say, welcome Rick Snider's Washington. Please, like, share, all that. Pollen season. Anyway, I'm talking to the algorithm that first 10 seconds. That's why. But if you can hit the thumbs up button like somebody just did, somebody else just did, great. It helps the algorithm think, oh, people like him. I'll send more his way. Okay. Let's see. Where's our linebacker core rank in the league? Asked Brian. Washingtonian perspective. Yep. I'm a Washingtonian with an R. 6th generation Washingtonian since City Open. And old Washingtonians, old family Washingtonians say with an R. It doesn't mean others don't, but I mean, I know, I actually was a member of a group, the oldest people in Washington, families thing. And they would tell me how the nuns in schools would like smack them on their hands if they said Washington. They may beat it out of them literally. So that's why I say it. But I love my hometown. It's a great place. And our linebacker core ranking in the league, I still don't know that I wouldn't say it's in the top half unless, Jamin Davis has a, lights out year. I mean, he got better each year. It's just he wasn't good enough in the first year. So this growth curve is still, has a little bit behind what you would like. But if he has a great year, and I think, well, we'll see what this defense does. It's going to be an interesting year. It's a transitional year. I mean, listen, they're going to have 60% or so new players in 1 year. And I did the look. I mean, George Allen only did 35% his first year roster flip. The last time we saw 60% was World War II era when players were coming and going in the military. So we're talking about World War II. Last time that you've seen as much roster change as you're going to see this year. So it's kind of hard to tell how it's all going to go. You need chemistry and all these things too. You need to get a top golf and get to know each other. Nothing wrong with the top golf thing. I thought that was way overblown by so many people. Haters gotta hate. Okay, let's see. Are the Wizards ever going to win again? Joel asked. Yeah, that's the next journey of 1,000 miles, isn't it? 15 wins for a year. That's just ridiculous. And somebody said, "Man, why don't they get the South Carolina coach, Dawn Staley? She won the women's championship this year." And I think they were trying to be smart. But I said, you know what? The woman knows how to win championships. She's won 3 national titles in like 5 years. I'll bring her. I mean, I think there'll be a woman coach in the NBA one day. Why not her? I don't know if she's interested. She may not be. But man, they got to think out the box and get somebody new. Well, the run game, and they need players too. I acknowledge that. They better hit the drafts. Will the run game be better this year, Trampus? I think it'll be more effective because they'll use it more consistently than before, where it's okay, I'll run you a few times, see you tomorrow. I mean, good Lord, that was really a poor game plan last year about the running game so much. And they have some guys, so I would expect to see them, run at least 40 some percent. Last time was just ridiculous. What was it like one game? It's like, I don't know how many plays it was in a row that they never ran. It was ridiculous. Are we a young team? I sometimes wonder because of cleaning up Dan Snyder's mess, asked Greg. I wouldn't say they're necessarily a young team, but they're probably in the middle now. Coaching went south last year, GB. Yeah, man. After that, they got to 4-5, and you had some hope that maybe things would be okay. And then they lost 4 straight, and then they went to the bye. And I thought they're not going to win anything coming back. They've given up, and they did. So that's all proven, and everybody was a dead man walking, and they knew it. So this new staff, they've got a lot of energy, a lot of new ideas. I say give them a chance. Let them lose the first game before you get mad. Brandon, any stake in Mims, offensive tackle from Georgia? I don't know. Maybe, but I don't think so. Ryan, what positions do you think they'll target day 2? He thinks tight end and corner. I mean, listen, they could use a tight end. There's no doubt of that. I mean, Cole Turner has had 2 years of injuries. I don't know what's in him now. But I expect them to move on and get somebody else. But it may be another year before they do that. And corner, if it's the right one, if I could see him going third round for a corner more, but also guys that can play some teams too. Is what I think they should do. Okay, Robert. Hope it's May. There you go. There's a guy who likes May. It goes on and on. I mean, it goes around and around with May, Daniels. I think ability wise, I mean, they're different type players, but if I had to grade them on a number, I think they're pretty close. So then you look at the intangibles like leadership and such. And that's kind of hard for me to judge because I haven't been around them, at the college level to know what they're like. That's something I can't know. That's why they bring them in for Top Golf and stuff like that to figure that out. I thought it was a really interesting way to do it. And I talked about it a few minutes ago. A lot of people watch for about 15 minutes and then come back around and or watch at different phases. And we have people in all time zones in Europe watching the show, which I do appreciate everybody doing. Appreciate everybody coming back. And just to remind you, if you didn't hear it earlier, Thursday night I'll do the live chat starting at 7:30. Draft starts at 8. Commanders should pick around 8:30. And then I got to go do a bunch of work. But I'll do it about an hour, for that. If they come back in the first round, I'll try and come back and talk. That's the thing. They may be done picking it too, but they may not be done for the night. They may end up picking number 26 or something. And I'll be on the couch like, ooh, so, nobody goes home early, put it that way. Not unless the GM, there have been years that we've been there and it's like the draft has another hour or two and you get the PR guy aside and say, hey man, can you ask them if they're going to maybe make another thing or can we leave? And they would say, in some years they came back and said, go ahead. We're not doing anything more tonight. So it's a little give and take to help the media out. So you don't have to stay needlessly till midnight sometimes. Parlettes here. Let's see. Can't wait to have a quarterback tall enough to ride all the rides at the theme park. Oh, you're so funny. Okay. Let's see. Brandon, who would I like to see Washington draft at 2? And I said, it's not that I want them to. I just have my guess is kind of going to be May. but it could be Daniels, it could be McCarthy. I really can't tell. A lot of years we've been around the staff. You can kind of massage a little information of stuff, and that's not around. You can't trust a word an agent says. God help you doing that. So it's tough. I really won't know until they hand the card in. Then ESPN will go to commercial, and we'll have to wait a couple more minutes till they come back. So Suzanne's like me; she likes to pick up with Frankie Louvu. I think that was a decent pick. They got some guys. They got a lot of guys on 1 year show me deals. I was looking at it one day going through the list. Like a third of the guys that they signed had 1 year show me deals. Okay, so but then they got a bunch of guys coming off their first contracts, which means they're in their prime. Now, if they were real good, their team probably would have kept them. But there's a lot of stuff that goes into all this. I got to tell you, the NFL did the Commanders no favor increasing the salary cap so much this year because they had a lot of money and a lot of people else didn't. But with that big bump, they now could keep players that they would have had to cut. And that actually hurt Washington, I think, a little bit on the free agency market. Joel says, I'm scared if they get Daniels, it'll end up being like RG3. Yeah, I hope he can slide. I'll say that. RG3 never could learn how to slide. Ryan says fine with either guy. May seems to have great traits. See him developing. Daniel says day one potential. I kind of agree with that. Daniels could be your guy a little quicker than May could be. You don't want to have Marcus Mariota starting opening day. Let's be honest. Which is why I thought they shouldn't have traded Sam Howell because it limited your options on some things. And they didn't give really that much for Sam Howell. In the end, I would have kept him. It didn't cost him anything. He was cheap. I don't know. I thought that was I know there was probably other things involved, but I would have told everybody be a big boy, get along in the rooms, and we'll all work it out together. So I think Daniels could maybe be better right away. And in the NFL, you can't wait to develop green bananas. You need to move along right quickly too. And so that's the temptation. Timothy talks about Shaka Tony. Yeah, we talked about that opening the show. Shaka Tony, for those of you who didn't hear, was released by the team today. He was just reinstated a couple of days ago by the NFL after being suspended for a year for gambling on the NFL, which the NFL loves gambling, but they got rules about stuff. I don't know. It confuses me. It sets up for failure. There's going to be gambling scandals in the league more and more. It just is. Ryan, the most buttoned up franchise has ever been, probably since the George Allen days. I'd say that. Steve, thank you so much for chipping in. See, Steve did it. You just hit that dollar sign underneath the screen here. It's like right, where is it? Right over here somewhere. Anyway, it's like a tip jar. And it's like saying, hey, Rick, thanks for not subjecting us to commercials every 5 minutes. And thanks for, just making it me and the fans. But to do that, the money's got to come somewhere. Got to eat. And so I do appreciate people $2, $5, $10, whatever. But it shows me that, hey, you value my time as much as yours and are willing to help out and you don't get anybody else doing this. John Kime does a great show and he does a lot of X's and O's too on Inside Football. We kind of talk different things on there. And John's one of my best friends, so I'm not saying anything bad about that. It's just different ways of doing it. But nobody else does it quite like this. And it's free. So if you want to kick in a couple bucks and help an old sports writer survive his final years. No pressure. And if you don't, well, we'll just do it. If you want to buy a book, this is 100 stories on the Commanders. They're all short stories too, like 700 words. So you can just read one and come back another day and read another one. It's $20. I sign it, ship it. This one's 15. It's about all the presidents who drank. It's a fun short read also. And I can't write anything long anymore. If you get them both, $30. And I'll mail it to you tomorrow and sign them. And $30 total. And the Venmo, let's see. Here you go. Put it up again. There's Venmo and PayPal are two easy ways to go. If you want to see more about the book, they're on Amazon there too. You can buy it if you want. It just won't make as much money for me. Timothy loves John Kime. And Kime works hard. I mean, I've known John 30 years. He lives football more than me. Bob, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Man, all right, we're halfway through the show. Whew. feel like I'm talking 1,000 miles an hour today. All right. Okay. All right. And we got a decent crowd tonight. Hit the thumbs up button if nothing else. If you don't even want to throw $1 in the pile, if you don't want to buy a book, you don't want to do anything, Oh, one thing, I hit the thumbs up button because then it's free and the algorithm rewards me. I am still trying to come up with a date to do a meetup in DC, where I go on, since I'm a tour guide and I take people, a lot of people want to go on tours and such. Um, I'm going to do a combination, do a tour, which will pay for tickets. Now, the tour is not free. But after the tour, we'll go to a pizza place nearby and just talk Commanders all you want. As long as the pizza's going, I'll keep talking. So it's probably going to be in June, and I'll spread the word before we do it. And it'll be limited because I can't have, I say limited and maybe 3 of you show up, but whatever. Well, I don't want to have too many people come just in case that were to happen. I'm always amazed how many people come up to me on the street and have seen the show, and I do appreciate that. Last year it was more than 5 million people watch the show. So who knew? I have a face for TV. I thought I always had a face for newspapers. I think we'll see the name change by 2025. Asked Rich. No. Could they do it? To me, there's 2 things there. Number one, if you win, let's just say they win a Super Bowl, then you're stuck with the Commander's name. Let's be honest. But otherwise, if they go to RFK, I could see them changing the name when they open at the new stadium. Just make it a whole reboot of a franchise. What's the name? Oh, we'll just fight about that again. Go ahead. But I hear from people all the time. I had a Dallas fan on one of my tours the other day. So I told him all the wrong stuff. No, I'm kidding. But he asked me about the Commander's name, and I was like, yeah, okay. Not everybody likes it. Robert, they traded Sam because he and Drake are best friends. Yeah, I get all that. And I understand it. That doesn't mean they're taking Drake. It's hard to say. What do you expect? One draft pick opening night from the Commanders. Do I expect just one? I'm sorry. Opening night. Greg. No, I expect 2. So you stay awake. Stay awake. I expect them to trade back up into the first round. There are people who want to trade in the 20s. There should be a decent offensive tackle there. I don't know that I'd trade up for anything else. But you never know. There might be some player that gets, if they take 6 offensive tackles that's being talked about in the first round and 5 quarterbacks, that's 11. That's a third of the draft goes to quarterbacks and offensive tackles or offensive linemen. Is there, I don't think there's too many tight ends, that are there. But there's going to be corners, there's going to be receivers that a lot of other years would go lower. Maybe you see something you want. But they got to go and put an offensive tackle. Unless Cornelius Lucas is starting at left tackle. I don't know. They've got to come up with that kind of cornered in that. You want to get yourself a brand new rookie quarterback, but you don't want to spend anything on an offensive tackle to protect them. That's how bad things happen. All right, Robert. Sam would probably be here if they weren't taking Drake. Yeah, I don't know, because coaches are funny about quarterbacks, because it's such an important thing. They want their guy. Doesn't matter if the guy that they receive here is good enough. They want their own guy. So, because the quarterback makes or breaks coaches. So a lot of times they want to change to their guy, better or worse. And sometimes it's not better. All right. Steve, I'm not going to feel too good about things if the first pick doesn't start over Mariota over the first day. Yeah, you're going to try and give it to him. And we'll say that. But I've seen guys, I don't know, like Heath Schuler come to camp, and you're like, oh no, this isn't good. Versus when I saw Sam Howell on rookie camp day, I was like, this guy's got potential. So you can usually see it. I don't know, maybe it's because I've been around so long. You can usually see what's going to work and what isn't. When I first saw Sam Cosmi, I looked at him and said, not a tackle, the guard. It didn't take the team long to understand that, So, not that I'm the savant, but I've been around this beat, like I say, my 50th camp somewhere. It's hard getting old. Steve, let's see. Okay, Steve, GB Commanders make me want to throw up. Take the Warriors or just Washington. The name Commanders is what's making them throw up, not the team. Okay. I liked Warriors. This thing about Warriors was also taking American Indian stuff. No, there have been warriors since people picked up rocks and stones. The Spartans were warriors. That's like 2,000 years ago. The Greeks were warriors. The Romans were warriors. So I don't get that. You could have been the military team. You could have been a national military kind of team, the nation's capital. I thought that was a missed opportunity. Joe, late to the party. Oh man, out to dinner. All right. Well, okay. Ask your question. Timothy loves JP Finley and Mitch Tischler too. They're great guys. Mitch and I are peanut butter and grape jelly guys. We always laugh about it that there's no other sandwich. You can't have, strawberry jam or all that. It's got to be grape, or else Mitch and I are going to pound you. So I like that. And JP's a cool guy who started out in newspapers, so that's probably why I like him. Works very hard. All these guys, beat writers and all, they all work hard. This isn't a slacker's job. If you cover this team, you're working 60-hour weeks without trying, and sometimes much more. Get a 40-hour week is called a slow week in the off season. So all these guys do work hard. People, bitch and moan too much about us. We're doing the best we can. And a fading industry that's taking all of our jobs away. Andy, Josh Harris said all along that making a mediocre team was quick and easy, but he wants to carefully build one. True. So that lines up with Drake May in his mind. Okay, because it is figuring that Drake May is going to take a little longer to be good than Jaden Daniels. I don't know if that's really true or not, but that's the thought. GB, you're leaving me already? We got 20 minutes to go. What, something on TV? Oh, jeez. All right. I watched The Gentleman on, was it Netflix? Watched the series. That was good. Watching the Ben Franklin thing on Apple Plus, that's been really good. The John Wilkes Booth manhunt thing, awful. It was death of 1,000 lies in that one. If you watch the John Wilkes Booth, who I happen to be a distant relative of, and I do Lincoln assassination tours all the time. That manhunt thing, the book was good, but the show it just had 1,000 errors. I could go through them all, but we're not here to talk about that. But the Franklin one, Ben Franklin, Michael Douglas is doing it. I like that. That's been really interesting to watch. Okay, Robert, all the smoke from the scouting combine had Washington liking and leaning Drake May. Guess people forgot about that. Yeah, I mean, but you got agents talking in everybody's ear, and they're trying to change the narrative about things. Because my friends talk and your friends talk, and they all talk to me. I love Taylor. So there's so much of this that's going on. And there's sometimes I think in the media, there's groupthink where people suddenly ride along with what's the popular thought instead of being unafraid to say, hey, here's where it is. So I think that sometimes they all kind of hang together instead of hanging separately. Hey, if I say Drake May and it's Jaden Daniels, okay, I was wrong. Who cares? At the end of the day, I still get to eat dinner and we all go home. Shogun, Robert, that was excellent. I've watched Shogun too. I think the last one's this week. That's been really good. There's hardly ever anything on TV anymore. Any thoughts on Washington trading for Brandon Ayuk? I think it's called Brandon. Have not heard a word about that. Timothy, Sam Fortier, and Nikki Jabalia work great as well. Those are the post writers. Nikki has a brand new baby, and she's still following stories. Nikki's a warrior. She really is. Does a great job and as tough as they get. I've really been impressed with her work. Let's see. GB, got to get up at 3:15 for work in D.C., and you're in Berlin, Maryland. Yeah, Berlin, Maryland is like near Ocean City, for those of you who don't know. It's probably like a good 2-hour drive in at that crack of dawn hour. Whew, brother, you got to get yourself another job. Go sell seashells at the seashore. That's too hard a life to live. I've done that. I used to do the 80-hour weeks, and I had a heart attack at 42. And I've got the big scar here to prove it. So go get some rest. Greg, I'm glad we aren't on Hard Knocks. I'm not. I love Hard Knocks. You get to see a few things you wouldn't see normally. So I don't have any problem with Hard Knocks. Now there's one for the preseason. There's And this team is not eligible to be forced to do it because they have a new coach. First year, new coaches, those teams can't do it. I'm not sure what the rule is, though, for the regular season. Scott, what offensive tackle do you think they would target? It's hard to say because I don't think they're going to get any of, say, the top three. And at that point, do you really want the fourth best offensive tackle? Do you want to go back and look at free agency to see what else is out there and make it a 1-year guy? That's possible. They couldn't. Leno was having surgery this offseason and wouldn't have been ready for the season anyway, so they had to move on from him. But I think if they trade up, they'll be low 20s, be somewhere in there, I think. Or maybe somebody slips through the draft. Say Brock Bowers slipped some reason. He's not. But let's just say he slips to 22. Throw those 2 picks up there and go get them. You just never know. Sometimes somebody does slip through the cracks on draft day with all this group thinking, we got to get a quarterback. I mean, the other day I did a piece about Boomer Esiason. Why didn't Washington take Boomer? And I checked with some people. But the key thing was Boomer was taken number 38 overall. Washington had already picked a defensive tackle who never played in the league because of injuries. Never played. So they passed on Boomer. But the team still had Joe Theismann starting, and he hadn't been hurt. And they were looking to get Schrader in the 3rd round, which they did. So they didn't take Boomer. But the key was Boomer was the first quarterback taken in that draft at number 38. No first rounder in that draft. Today, you can't get out of each other's way to draft them. Okay, let's see. All right. Anunnaki? Oh, the shiny ones. With edge rushers added and KJ Henry and Andre Jones, do you think we'll wait and focus on offense early? Draft a guy like Kamara from Colorado State. Well, I mean, KJ Henry has a lot of potential, but we still haven't really seen it yet. You could say the same about Andre Jones. I like Henry a little better. So I don't know if they go looking for an edge rusher right away. So I think you got to go quarterback and offensive tackle your first 2. And then I think you're just going for what's the best thing you can get. They do have, some of you weren't around earlier, going over the draft picks. So they have the 2nd overall in the 1st round. In the 2nd round, they have 36 and 40. 40 comes from Chicago because of the Montez Sweat trade. They have 3 3rd rounders, 67, 78, which comes from Seattle, and 100, which comes from San Francisco on Chase Young. No 4th rounder, 2 5ths, 139 and 152, which is Seattle's pick. No 6th rounders, and then a 7th rounder, number 222. So basically, after pick 139, they're pretty much done. They may trade up to the 7th to get something, but who knows at that point. Okay, I like to keep Tressway. Joe asks, I see no reason to get rid of Tressway yet. I didn't think he had his best year last year. I will say that, but it was still a good year. But he's getting older. His teammates love Tressway. They love Tressway. He's a great guy. It was his birthday the other day, and the team put cameras out there. And all the players stopped by and answer a question of the day, and they were, they all were. It was his birthday, so they were making fun of Tress. It was funny, but you could tell how much they love this guy. He's a good guy. He's a good player. I mean, to say it, he's maybe their best player last few years. So, as sad as that is. All right. Well, we got 15 minutes to go. Okay. So as everybody rotates through, like I said, if you want to get one of the books, 20 for the Commanders, 15 for Presidential, 30 together. I sign them and shipping's free. And I'll just put it on Venmo and PayPal again. You can go Venmo or PayPal, or you can go to Amazon and see the books. You can buy them there. No cheaper, and you won't get them signed. But other than that, hey, Bo Mudd, good to see you. Not part of Dr. Mudd's clan, are you? I know a lot of Mudds. Lived near Dr. Mudd's house for years. Okay, and I caught up to everybody. Woo! Hit the thumbs up button if nothing else. If you're new to this, most people watch about 15 minutes of the show. And a lot of people come in during the show. Twice as many people watch the show after we're done live because they're in different time zones or whatever. So that's why. I'll be back next Monday night for another, post-draft. And also on Thursday for the first round pick, I'm going to do a live show 7:30 to roughly 8:30 when they pick. So come on back Thursday if you want. You can watch ESPN and listen to me. That's the best of the worlds. Greg, do you think they will do a welcome home game for Dan? I am kidding. Yeah, I know. Whoa, let's not even go there. I like to try. Honestly, I try to move on from Dan Snider as much as I can and just put it in the rearview mirror and not even think about it anymore. That's the best revenge, is just forgetting him. Oh, Bo, you are? Okay. Are you in Southern Maryland? I went to school with a bunch of muds. Knew a couple of Surratts, and I have Booth blood in my clan, so I'm not backing what he did. Obviously, he did something bad. All right. May this draft wash the stink of Snider off this franchise forever, says Andy. Well, let's hope so. Maybe it'd be like I think it was the 81 draft that Beathard just came up with like 6 players that were just awesome. Okay, Scott, if a team trades up into the first, you expect to later trade back and try and get more picks. Well, if you use those 2s to move up, you got 3 3s. You might do something there because third rounders still should help you. Listen, the first 2 rounds should start for you. And the third rounder could be a starter at the right position or at least a prominent backup. One of the real problems this team has had in recent years is how many of their second rounders failed so much. And then I was looking like Preston Smith up in Green Bay, who was here for his first 4 years, I guess, and then left as a free agent and has had plays even better in Green Bay and has done so well. And you go, man, how'd they let this not work? But their second rounders have been terrible. So they got to hit on these things. All right. So if they trade the 2 2s up to the 1, do they make a move with the 3s to get into the 2s? Yeah, I could see that. So, okay, caught up to that one. All right. So we got about 10 minutes to go. And then my voice is going to say enough. Pollen season. I've never had a problem with it until I turned 50. And it's all part of my getting old sucks thing. It never bothered me before. But I was out in the garden working all day. I got 3 acres plus in my new place. So I'm outside as much as I can be. Let's see. So Scott, the second round nightmare started with Thomas, Kelly, and Davis. Yeah. Thomas, I took one look at the first day and said, no. Fast, but not a football player. Kelly had potential, but injuries and stuff just kind of kept it from happening. And Davis had a lot of it. I liked Davis. First day I saw him, I was like, ooh, I understand that pick. But it just didn't work out on that one either. Succeeding in the NFL is not about being a great player. It's about, being smart enough to know how to fit yourself in this game. Some guys don't do it very well. Burgundy and Gold Combos wants them to take a flyer on Peyton Wilson, linebacker. Can't say I know much about that one. Sorry. I'll take your word for it. All right, Bo. So Bo's part of the Mud Clan. Good. Always good to know. There's people out there. Bob's got to leave. What? Bob got 8 more minutes. Okay. People got to go early. You got personal lives. I know. There's probably a game on about something. But no, I'm kidding. I do appreciate anyone coming. Hey, listen, you got plenty of choices to go spend your lives on. Thank you so much for coming and spending part of your time with me. I do appreciate it. That's something Rich Tamler really kind of drove home to me at the end. Rich and I were, Rich was a little older than I am. I gave him a start in the business. And, he showed me, he was a restaurant manager when I first met him at a Panera. And he said, listen, we have to appreciate our customers at the restaurant. You have to appreciate your readers. And, old newspaper style was to stay away from readers and be segregated from it. But in the new media, we do this, kind of stuff. So now we're all friends. So I had to learn. Rich was really good at teaching that. Such a sad thing he died so quickly. I was one of his pallbearers. We sang American Pie at the grave of Rich's funeral. Great guy. Just sad he died so quickly. All right. I say that about too many people in my life anymore. Steve, did my most recent pizza have any sauce on it? Couldn't see. So I did a pizza review from Gentleman Jim's in Gaithersburg on Saturday, and I think or Friday, and I had a bunch of family around there, and so I actually had 12 of my cousins and spouses all meet. We had pizza there, and then we went to one of my cousin's daughter coaches girls field hockey in high school. So we went to the game. I get to the game 5 minutes late, and they're down 8-0. What the hell is going on? Woo! But we didn't go well that night, but we still have some fun. And basically, and one of my cousins said, "Oh, I mean, I thought we were going to like some gentleman's club." I thought, you really think I'm going to invite my women cousins and my wife and all to go with us to a gentleman's club? Are you kidding me? Ooh, I don't know about that cousin of mine saying that. I have to keep an eye on him. But anyway, the pizza was okay. I didn't think it was great, but I didn't think it was bad. So yeah, I like the crust on it. A little shorter on the, and it had good cheese. The sauce was probably in the middle, of the whole thing. So I keep looking at. I do pizza shows now and then. A lot of you watch them, so I'll do them now and then when I can. There's one where they have a new vending machines out where you can buy a pizza in a vending machine, and it's in Silver Spring, and I'm going to have to try it out sometime. Brandon, still hoping Jamin makes the jump to solid. I mean, he made a good jump. Each of his 3 seasons have gotten better. So maybe last season was decent. Maybe he does make that jump. Maybe he just needed more time, and which they shouldn't have drafted him so early. All right. The grievance capitalist. Ooh, I like that name. Woo, everyone can relax. I'm here. Okay, well, thank because I have grievances for you, but not against capitalism. I'm a capitalist. Thanks, Bob, for coming. Rich was great at interacting with the fans. So Scott, yeah, everybody loved Rich. I was amazed how much you guys loved one of us doing this. Um, he was a good guy. He loved the Beatles. We used to. I wasn't as big a Beatles fan as he was, um, but man, he could um, definitely love the Beatles. He could sing American Pie. Everybody thought that was amazing. And I thought, wait a minute, I can sing American Pie too. Want to go? I mean, we were the same age, so I knew the song too. But he had a lot of fun, and he was a smart guy, and he was an elder who didn't mind. And the craziest thing, last time I talked to Rich was at a game, and we were talking about another sports writer who had just died, Steve Guback. And Rich came over to get me about something, and then we were doing a tribute to him in the press box. I would have never guessed the next Sunday I'd be doing a tribute to Rich. Wow, I mean, it just he went into a meeting, I think on a Tuesday, and suffered a heart attack and died. And the suddenness of it was just amazing. So people still miss him. One NFL city has the best pizza, which is got Chicago. Chicago. I mean, should I say New York? I mean, New York has good pizza, but Chicago, man, I've had great pizza in Chicago. The deep dish, the Detroit style. I'm not against it, um, but I like the deep dish a little better. Chain pizza just bores the bejesus out of me anymore. DMV fan. I have a gut feeling that Patrick Paul or Jordan Morgan will be the tackle pick, whether it's trade up or 36 or 40. I don't think they can get Paul at 36. I'm not sure about Morgan. Andy, almost warm enough to hit Hovermails. Andy, I drove past Hovermails last week just out of the hope that it was open. It's an ice cream stand just south of DC that I have been going to since 1962. So you think I'd get a freebie by now, but it was closed. And that guy, it opens late. I mean, Rita's is open year round, and Rita's is okay, but it's not Hovermails. Hovermails is soft ice cream for all of you out there, and the cones and all. It's great. I'm sure I'll do something on it. I'll post a picture whenever they're open. I shouldn't be there eating it, but I usually eat at Hovermails. I get a cone 2-3 times a summer now. Grievance. Yep. You always have a warm spot in your heart for good people. That's what I tell my kids. My kids are grown. They go, "You got a lot of really strange friends." And I said, "They're good people. You just don't know them like I know them." And we all walk around with problems in life. and life can really beat you down. And I'd say one thing that we fail to do as adults, we support the kids unconditionally anymore. It's for the children. But when they turn 18, it's kind of like we've decided you're on your own, kid. And we don't support people when they're 18 and older, and they need it just as much. How many of us need somebody who's an elder or a mentor or something? Even my age, I've got a few friends that are older still. It's hard to believe anyone's left, but I appreciate when they can say something to me because I don't have that. My own my own father died in 1989, so I haven't had that. We all could use that. So good people in your life, if you have them, even if they're a pain in the butt, hang on to them because you don't get many of them out there. Damn, where'd that come from? Whatever. I'm working on a new podcast series with a friend of mine called 52 Questions with God, where we do one question, 10 minutes show. You'll see them on YouTube eventually. We're also doing a table read with several people of a play I did called The Sermon Writer. And I do have some things with church that I have going on. So those are other projects I'm working on. Did I ever go to Captain Pell's Seafood in Fairfax? No, Mike. I don't go to seafood places that aren't on the water. And I eat seafood places in Southern Maryland that are great. Captain Billy's, Pope's Creek, right where John Wilkes Booth crossed the river to go into Virginia. I feel sorry for you. If any of you watch Manhunt on Apple Plus, okay, John Wilkes Booth shot Lincoln. The rest of it's kind of shady of what they did. I was there the other day on the anniversary of the assassination, which Lincoln dies April 15th in the morning. And there's always not reenactments, but remembrances. And it's a special kind of time around there. So, all right, we're finishing up here. Let's see, Brandon. Okay, well, I appreciate you hanging in there with me. I used to like Timothy. I used to eat steak, and when I had a heart attack at 42, kind of rewired my taste buds, and I really don't eat steak much anymore. And I used to eat steak all the time. I eat more seafood and chicken. Probably I want. And food. Here's the other thing: getting old, food isn't as big a deal to you. You may have noticed I've lost weight in the past year or so. Just don't have the appetite for stuff anymore. It's like life has said, listen, fat boy, we've invested enough food in you, but you're getting older and say, we're going to start cutting back because we need this food for younger people. I swear that's life's DNA in us, saying, oh, let's wind down on the food intake. Whatever. So, yeah, I don't quite enjoy the food like I used to, but sugar, is my nemesis. I have to watch out for it. But steak, yeah, I grew up in cooking in a steakhouse for several years. I actually was a chef at a steakhouse long time ago. Another book I wrote, Secrets of Caveman Cooking. You might be able to find a copy on Amazon. I don't have any anymore for sale. I keep like a couple of my bookshelf. Matter of fact, hold on. We'll do this. Oh, yeah. Just a shit. These are not for sale. Sorry. But Secrets of Caveman Cooking. And I did this as kind of a joke, but damn, some publisher bought it. And, we had all these things that you could cook on the grill. And yeah, so I really did do one. And it's so decent, but this is like 20 years old. So I don't even know if they have it on anymore. Father Time's undefeated. You got that right, man, Andy. Not to sound gloomy, but we'll see. I don't want to talk about it right now. So, all right, we are at 9:01, which means I'm done on everything. I do appreciate everybody coming. Thank you so much. If you want to get one of the books, once again, there it is. You can do it, and if not, whatever, that's fine too. And I'll be back Thursday, 7:30 Eastern. So we'll talk about the Commander's pick as it winds up to it, and we'll see what happens. And then next Monday, I'll be back with the post-draft analysis, and then taking live chat off for a little while again. So, all right. Thank you all so much, Brandon. I guess, Steve, you're still there? There you are. Thank you. Steve never misses a minute, except that time he wanted to spend Christmas with his family, but that's okay. I forgive you for that. So grievance, I get you on there. It's just, I don't know. I have this is my show also has an audience of 98% men. I've noticed on the analytics. So I don't know who the 2% women are. I think it's Genevieve's one of them, but not many. Thank you, Timmy, Steve, for coming. I do appreciate your time too. Like I said, I appreciate everybody. If you came in late, you want to watch more, it will be on It's on YouTube. It'll kick back in a few minutes. So rewind. Suzanne, thank you so much. I forgot. I can't remember things anymore, but I do know you're here, and thank you so much for watching. And so you can watch that, and we're done. So yes, I do have the bell. So if I don't ring, once in a while I forget to ring the bell, and people are like, "Where's the bell?" And once in a while I just forget. I'm getting old. I don't know. Anyway, I'm Rick Snider for Rick Snider's Washington. Thank you all so much for coming, and I'll see you again Thursday night. But you can see the videos. Don't forget 6 a.m. and every day, and usually sometime in the evening too. So we've got some different stuff coming up. Thank you, Grievance. Appreciate it. And I'll see everybody soon.